Welcome to another episode of the Inside Byte. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I'm here with Rudy. How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing well, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm good. Anything cool happened this week since last show?
I'm slowly realizing that it's not July anymore. It is now August. And as you know, that is the scariest thing for teachers when, everyone else never stops working. Obviously, for us, it's like, oh man, we're almost there again. Got to start thinking of being around 10 and 11-year-olds every day, all day, and answering the same question 27 times and so on. So I'm trying to mentally prepare myself.
When are you starting again? I know you mentioned it last episode, but I forget.
Yeah. So it's on September 1st, which almost seems like too cliche to like September, immediately we're in there. That's it. You're back. So
And again, my kid's starting literally tomorrow, so that's
that's so
always weird.
crazy, man. Yeah, obviously it's a completely different state, but let me know how it goes for him. I'm curious to see how things go the first day back like that, especially this year.
Like COVID related stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious because it seems that here we haven't gotten any guidance yet, and I think the districts are just going to get together and say, all the superintendents in this county, let's get together and this is what we're going to decide. I don't think they're passing down guidance this time, so I think it's up to the schools this time. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. So I guess we'll find out.
Well, this is also Florida though, so things are I don't know. If you were to look at any Florida story revolving COVID, you're not going to find much. They don't seem to really care much. So,
Yeah, how do you feel when you see the Florida man stories? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like Florida
no,
man.
it is the way. Look, okay, so here's a really good story. I find alligators in my front yard.
Oh my
Okay,
God,
like
so
this is
crazy.
a for real thing. So it's crazy out here, and like anytime you hear any crazy guy on meth, it's probably 3 blocks down from my house. Like it's just the way it is around here. But
That's nuts.
everyone's so used to it, it just never really seems that crazy
Right.
unless you're outside of the bubble. But
When I read some of those stories, I just like crack up. It's like, is this a real thing? Like the guy who was eating another dude's face. I remember I remember The Walking
yeah,
Dead was really huge at that time. Then they see this news report, people are like, "Oh my God, it's happening." It's like this is nuts, man. I have only been to Florida a few times. Every time I've gone, I haven't really. No, actually, there's one exception. One time, I kind of was immersed in the actual city when I went to Miami for my honeymoon. That was a little different. I feel like I was in getting in there with the locals, and everything. All the other times, it's just been, let's go to Disney World, let's stay at this resort or hotel or whatever. So,
my kid goes to a private school, not a public, so it is very different. Like
okay,
they do have a whole COVID thing that they're doing, and they explained it all, and it all makes sense, and it's all
sure.
normal. But it's a small private school, so it's a lot easier to manage because it's just them
Oh
doing
yeah,
it for themselves. They're not having to worry about anyone else or trying to apply it to a whole state. So
that makes
very
sense.
different ball game. They are like doing it well and all that, so I'm really not worried about it. I
Okay,
already know what's all going on now. If he was going to a public school, it'd be a whole nother scenario.
sure,
And
sure. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, so it should be all right. I'd assume. I hope this year evens out. By the end of last school year, things seem to be slowly getting back to normal. And then the summer kind of just like took a nosedive again. So I guess we'll see. I hope by the end of this school year, I'm leaving a group of kids in the classroom like a normal situation, but we'll see.
at the end of the year, were you having kids in the classroom or no?
So at the end of the year, I had every student whose parents were okay with them coming to school at this point were in there. So that was probably somewhere around, and we had smaller class sizes this year. So I think I had 21 kids this year in my particular class. And out of those 21, maybe 12 or 13 were actually coming physically to school. So on the
Okay.
last day of school, I had all of those kids in front of me, but they were all wearing masks and they were all distance from each other. So it was nice to at least say bye to those kids. But the kids online, you just kind of, bye, see you guys next year, whatever it is. But it's not the same, obviously.
And then so I've been horribly sick this last week, and we're doing this show pretty late, but I just wanted to give it a shot. And but I'm saying all this to say,
Gonna be a little out there episode.
yeah, I won't know till I listen back to it, but I am very of how this is all going to play out, but it may actually work in my favor because I'm kind of loopy. So it's almost like I took like a shot or two before I went on started the show. So
Right.
for all I
I'm,
know,
ex-
it could actually work in my benefit. Yeah, so.
I'm excited. We'll see how this whole thing goes. That sucks that you're sick though. I feel, with the exception of one time recently, I haven't gotten sick in a while, but knock on wood. I don't know. I feel like I don't really get sick that often, and whenever I do get sick, then it's terrible. How about you? Is it a common thing?
Always the exact same times. It's like
Ah,
2 or 3
okay.
times a year, and it's always like at the start of a new season.
I see.
It
That
just
makes sense.
always messes with me. And then, which I guess it makes sense because anytime I travel anywhere, if I'm ever in a new location, I get sick as well. And I remember one time I went to like Maryland and I was staying for 2 weeks. In the first week of the two, I'm just puking my brains out. And I got to I was supposed to do so many things, like go see all the like many things in the around the Capitol, and I didn't get to do so many things because I'm just spending a week
Oh,
inside, puking my brains out and being like bedridden. But
that's
this
the
seems to
worst.
always happen to me. Went to Seattle. I remember when I first moved there. I actually lived by Seattle for a little over a year, and whenever I first got there, I was sick for like 2 weeks straight whenever I first moved there. So it's definitely a thing that just always happens to me. I went to England, and I remember like the first week of me being in England, I'm just sick the whole time. So anytime I even move location, my body just screws up hardcore. And I don't get it because I don't have like allergies. I don't really get sick much outside of just when things change, and it seems to always happen to me
Right.
pretty much since I've been a kid.
That sucks, man.
Nothing changes, I'm fine. It's really weird.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like that with the weather change. Like, okay, in New York, for example, the last year has been very strange with the weather. One day it's pretty cold, the next day it's very hot. Then it's all over the place, and it really messes people up completely. So I totally get that. Or people just changing locations. That's another one. That's a bummer though that happened to you on a on a vacation like that. Ugh, it sucks.
Yeah, no, it's the worst, especially if you're like dumping a lot of money into it and you
Yeah.
don't even get to do anything. It's like, oh, I
That
pretty much just spent I at least wasted $500, you know?
To piggyback off that, it's even worse when you are not the one spending the money, but maybe your friends are doing it for you. For me, when I got married, this was, over 5 years ago at this point, but right, a month before or so, my friends were planning a bachelor party for me. I was all excited about it. That's all I was thinking about for, let's say, I don't know, 2 months leading up to that. Every day they'd call me, pump me up about it, right? So the day of, or excuse me, the day before, all my friends text me. They say, Rudy, you got to be ready. We're going to pick you up tomorrow morning, super early, 8 o'clock. Be outside your place. We're going to come get you and, get excited. Okay, great. So I'm so excited that I'm trying to do like the kid thing. I'm trying to just knock out early so I can just wake up and it could be the next day already. But all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I still don't know to this day what happened. I don't know if it's something I ate or something else. The symptoms were similar to that of like food poisoning or like a stomach bug or something. Anyway, I started having these terrible symptoms. Stomach was hurting. I had to keep throwing up. I was in the bathroom. I won't get into detail on that, but you know how that goes when you're
Yeah, yeah,
visiting the
yeah.
bathroom every 10 minutes. It's just horrible. And I remember all I was thinking in my head was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to miss my own bachelor party. These guys are gonna be so upset with me. They probably spent so much money on this." And I was just trying everything I could. I was taking whatever I could. I was looking remedies up online, something quick. And of course, none of this stuff works. I've eventually fall asleep. I think I took NyQuil, which of course is a bad idea because you wake up the next morning extremely groggy. I woke up the next morning and I kind of felt okay. I was like, okay, maybe I'll be able to do this. And then my friends came and got me. And I think we were going to do paintball first. I think about like halfway through the trip.
You're playing. No, I'm imagining you running around
Yeah.
playing paintball, just throwing your brains
Oh
out as
my
you're
God.
mid match.
I remember being in the car and let's say I was with my family and I had to throw up. I would just say, guys, listen, I got to go to the bathroom. You got to stop the car. But I'm here with all my, longtime friends. This is a bachelor party. They're all doing this for me. So I'm in the car feeling completely horrible and they're all talking to me and stuff. And I'm just like nodding my head. I'm all sweaty and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is horrible. I was like, I can't let them know how bad I feel right now. And then obviously, you can't hide it too well. They start to catch on. And so we get to the paintball place, and I remember going to the bathroom immediately. Oh, hey guys, I'll see you in a minute. Just act like everything's cool. And I just, when you're drinking and you throw up, and all of a sudden you feel fine, and you're ready to go again. That's kind of how I felt. Like I just went to the bathroom, I let it all out, and then I felt fine. And then, like you were just joking about a second ago, we started paintball, and I was absolutely the worst person on our team for sure. All the running, and it was hot, and all the gear, I just felt even worse as the day went on.
I'm just imagining you just passing out mid-run.
I just get hit with 10 paintballs and I just collapse. All right, just leave me here. But after I don't know, someone was on my side because after paintball, we got some food, took off all the gear. I changed clothes and stuff, and then I started to feel better. And then the rest of the day was fine. But I was so worried about that, especially when it's someone else spending money on your behalf. So, that would have been terrible. But thankfully, didn't go to waste. Everything was good. So
I promise it'll all make sense, but I'm gonna be jumping around here for a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So, but Blink-182, I think they're my favorite band. Like all growing up, they were basically. They broke up 2008. They broke up, and then there was that plane crash to where Travis barely made it alive and the DJ, and the band tries to get back together again because they thought they almost lost the dude. And Tom, which was in the band, is basically feeling really bad because he was one of the main ones who was trying to just disembark from the band and do his own thing and not really going to a lot of practices and not really like wanting to be a part of it that much anymore. And he felt it was kind of like his fault that things kind of fell apart. But then when he almost dies, he feels really bad. So they try to get back together after the whole plane crash. And This was, I want to say,
I'm looking it up now. 2008, it says. Okay.
So then they try to get back together and they go on tour again and all of that. And so I'm super hyped because I never got to see them live. And by the time I got old enough to actually travel and go see a show, they're no longer a band anymore. And so now that they are, I'm like, oh my God, and who knows how long this is going to last. So I need to take like full advantage of this. And there's a show in Atlanta. I get the tickets. We do a whole trip to go to Atlanta. And I got to mention, so about 2 or 3 months before this, I got my license suspended because of a ticket I never paid, but I got it fixed. I'm in Georgia. I get pulled over on the way to the show because I get in this weird like intersection where I can't tell if I'm supposed to take like a left or right, and it's a bunch of zigzags all through the road, and it's like there's no street lights and it's really dark and I can't tell where I'm going, and I'm like, all right, I hope this is the way. And of course, I take the wrong route. Of course, there's a cop right around the corner.
Of course.
He sees me take some weird little turn thing, pulls me over, sees that my license is suspended, but it wasn't. I got it fixed. But in Georgia, somehow it wasn't translated. It wasn't
updated, yeah.
And this is right before I get to the show. I get pulled over. They actually see the suspended license, so they throw me in jail. I never even get to go to the show.
No.
Whenever I get there in the jail, I'm there for basically in a holding cell for like 3 days. And if nobody bails me out, move me over to this facility where I'm stuck there for like a month or two. And I keep trying to tell them that it's all fixed, everything's good, but they won't listen to me. And then they're setting up with these court cases and stuff for me. Right before 3 days is up, somebody, it was like a friend's uncle or something like that, bails me out. But I have no communication with anyone on the outside. Brother and friend that were with me were calling around, but we're young and they're basically telling people my full bail and what they'd have to pay to get me out. But you only have to pay like 10% of it to actually get me out, not the full amount. So they're telling people completely wrong information. And so people are thinking they would have to spend 10 to 20 grand to get me out. But in all reality, it was something like maybe 400.
Dude,
it's a pretty complicated deal. So I'm sitting there for like in this holding cell for like 3 days, just watching this clock, panicking a lot. I'm getting really sick because I'm in a new environment, of course.
Right.
And basically someone comes and gets me 2 hours before they're going to switch me over to something where I'm stuck for 2 months instead of just 3 days. Gets me out. I'm like so beyond ecstatic, but I'm still just awfully sick. And not like I would eat the food that they were trying to offer me anyway. Oh my God. It smelled horrific.
I'm sure it's terrible.
But all of this to say, I ended up getting like bronchitis, and is what ended up happening.
Oh
And I
God.
kept having to drive from Florida to this place way up north in Georgia. And it was a good, like, I don't know, 8 to 10 hour drive that I had to take, I want to say like 4 different times as I had bronchitis, as they had my car because it got impounded until all of it was figured out. I wasn't allowed to get my car out. And so I kept having to borrow other people's car while being horribly sick, trying to drive to these different court cases, throw my like brains out on the way there and back for weeks. And I just remember it being one of the like crappiest times I've ever had in my life. And saying all that to also say I never even got to see the band.
Yeah,
So
the worst part of it all. Dude,
and it
that
was like,
story. If I didn't know you and know that you have no reason, that story is so crazy. It sounds made up. Like if some random guy told me that story, I'd be like, okay, that's all right, I believe you. Like what the heck? That's nuts, man. That's craziness.
everything that could go wrong just went wrong, And and I've never, I mean,
Jeez.
have you ever had bronchitis before?
Yeah, I've had it once before. It was terrible. It
It,
sucked.
it was
Ugh.
nonstop throwing up. I
Yeah,
could never
horrible.
stop.
Enough sick talk. We're gonna make ourselves even more sick at this point.
I have a lot to go over because there's a whole bunch of mess going on with Activision and Blizzard right now. And I just wanted to jump into all of this. I'm just going to read the rundown here of what I got
Go
set
for it.
up, and then we can talk about it after this. So just hang on for a minute. All right. So Activision has a lawsuit against them by the state of California, and employees were planning a walkout. And so Activision hears that, and they try to release this statement being like, oh no, we're going to try to really treat everyone equally. We're going to care a lot about you guys. We're sorry we let you guys down. They released this long statement of basically saying they're sorry, that we're going to be a million times better. Your voice is always heard. But they've been saying this for years and years and years, and
Yeah,
they've never
a load
once.
of crap.
Yeah. But they were trying to just release this official statement so the employees wouldn't do the walkout that they're planning, but they did it anyway. And there's videos online you can look of them just walking outside the building with signs and chanting and all of this mess. And so this has been going on for a few days. Because of that, it's getting more and more people to watch them. And now all these sponsorships are pulling out of Overwatch, which is great because
they're actually getting hit where it hurts in some spot now, or else that would make no changes at all.
Yeah, exactly. And then so Jason Schreier released a whole bunch of tweets of basically trying to explain what's going on for the last few years here. And I'm just going to read these chain here. So from 2007, 2008, Activision and Vivendi Games, Blizzard, they merged. Blizzard largely left anonymous. Bobby Kotick buys out Vivendi and seizes total control of Activision Blizzard. Soon begins installing his own lieutenants at Blizzard. From 2007 to 2008, Blizzard revenue starts tanking. Activision starts pushing the company to cut costs, produce more games at a faster rate, seeing if that would fix anything. In 2008, Morami, sick of Kotick, resigns. Brack takes over. 2018 to 2020, Blizzard's reputation smacked by Diablo's Immortal because
then people hate it.
Yeah. And that was when they were announcing that. That was the whole thing of what, you guys don't have phones, that whole mess.
Yep, I remember
that. And all the mess around Blunchchung and Warcraft 3 Reforged just being a complete disaster. And then, which is sad. So Warcraft 3 actually was like real big on back in the day. Did you ever play that or care about it? Have you played any Warcraft things?
So I tried some of them out back in the day. I won't say I played a lot of it, but I tried them out. I know what they were all about. Never really got into them though.
What about like Dota or?
Listen, I'm someone who is not intimidated by games. I can play hard games and everything, but when I watch Dota, I just have no idea what's happening at all. So I've never even attempted to try that game. Have you played that game?
Have you played League of Legends then?
Nope, neither.
Okay.
I haven't really gotten into any of those really complex MOBA games like that.
They're not that complex.
I'm sure once you get the hang of it, it's fine. I just am much better at, your shooter, your third-person action game, whatever. I can play amazing with those. But like I've been playing Halo Wars, and RTS games are just, I like them, but I just am not great at them. So
I gotcha. I'm not big into them, but I know how they
right.
play, and I played it here and there with friends and stuff like that. But I never
Hmm.
went out of my way to play them. It was only if someone else was trying to get me to play it with them. But
Gotcha. Only Blizzard game I played a lot was Overwatch, which I actually do
oh,
really
gotcha.
enjoy. Yeah.
Okay. So 2019 to present, Activision begins eliminating and consulting many of Blizzard non-gaming dev roles, closing offices in France and in the Netherlands. And then Activision Blizzard faces second lawsuit over the first lawsuit,
Damn.
basically because they didn't release to the public that they were having people inspect the company for the last 3 years on all of these allocations, and they kept it all secret, but you weren't supposed to. You're supposed to make it known
Right.
so investors can invest with a open mind and an honest mind and not know that they're paying into something that they don't want to. Basically, you have to have all of this stuff out in the open.
Yeah, they were trying to be sneaky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were hiding that they were having investigations on the company, and then they finally found out a lot of these other companies just now because all of this just got released, and then so now they're getting sued for that on top of getting sued by the state of California
Right.
for all of these sexual harassment things that also took place in the company. Now, did you
What a
hear
mess.
any of the crazy things exactly on who
Yeah.
and what sexual harassments exactly?
I think there were a good 4, 5, 6 things that stood out to me, but the number one thing was, and just realized that I'm laughing because of how horrible this is, not any other reason, but a lot of the people who worked there were, the whole thing was like the frat boy culture, right? Which we all know what that is. We all know how that
Yeah.
goes. Okay, if it was just that, that's already probably shouldn't be doing that at work, but okay, fine. But then it escalates because now apparently a woman who worked for Blizzard committed suicide throughout this whole thing because of, I'm sure she had other things going on too, of course, but I don't think that it helped the fact that they're passing around apparently nudes of her like right in her face, and it's not like a secret thing. Basically just all this mistreatment led to her obviously doing what she did, and they tried to sweep that under the rug, which is of course Activision Blizzard just making all the wrong moves here. Okay. On top of that, this whole Cosby thing, I'm not sure how to feel about this. They basically had the room, what was it called? Like the Cosby room or something. And they had a photograph of all of them with the picture of Bill Cosby. Now, that was in 2013 or 14 or something.
Yeah, they were trying to say they called it the Bill Cosby room because the carpet in the
Right, right.
room looked like a Bill Cosby sweater.
Now, the Cosby accusations is interesting because there were some accusations back in 2002. One woman, director of operations for Temple University's women's basketball team, claimed that he had harassed her, right? And then you have 2004, 2005. Yes, the whole bombshell and everything started popping off after this picture was taken, but there were some accusations out there. So is it possible they could have known something about Cosby being a scumbag? Sure. Do I think everyone in that picture was holding it up? Hey, here's this rapist. Let's all put up his picture. I don't think everyone was in on it, probably. You probably had some guys who were trying to be funny and not a good look.
I mean, this one example doesn't even really matter that much because there was plenty of things.
He even said they used to do like cube crawls where all the guys would drink at work and get drunk and go around and harass all the women at work or go from each cubicle. I'm like, what is this like fifth grade or something? What's going on here? It's just, I guess the people have a lot of balls who work here to just do this and not really. I guess that what that tells me is they had no fear of any sort of consequences, right? So they probably knew that they were good and they could get away with whatever they wanted. So it starts at the top, I guess is what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
Besides this lawsuit, that Blizzard is just a company that has just been going downhill the last few years. I don't play a lot of Blizzard games, so I can't really speak to that. But do you share that opinion? Have you been playing a lot of their games at all over the years?
I used to,
Yeah,
but yeah, there hasn't been anything recent that they've even done that is even
right.
worth the damn anyway. The most recent thing, I guess, is Overwatch, and that game is still good, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Eventually, you just get bored. I mean, you're not.
Yeah, and it's been, I want to say Overwatch dropped in, what was it, 2016 or something? Let me see. Yeah, 2016. It's been 5 years. You've announced Overwatch 2, but by all accounts, it seems more of an expansion than a new game, really. It doesn't seem like a brand new game, and it's still not coming out anytime soon, at least from what I can tell. At least not until next year. Then I have friends who play WoW. and they're kind of saying how that's dipped in quality, and a lot of them have moved over to Final Fantasy 14, which, as you know, is experiencing an influx of new players right now. So I don't know. I just think Activision Blizzard all around right now not looking good. I know Activision is still making a killing with Call of Duty and all the things they do, which I don't know how that might last another bunch of years. Who knows? But on the Blizzard side of things, I think they're not looking good on all accounts with this lawsuit, as well as their gaming side, which is that's the one thing that could save them probably. People will still be fans of them for their games, but if they're dropping there too, then who knows how they're going to come out of this. And I don't think this is going to end anytime soon.
So that first lawsuit doesn't even specify any names specifically, and they just say the company as a whole. But the second lawsuit, because they hit a bunch of stuff, the second one is noting the CEO, Bobby Kotick. It's acknowledging CFO Dennis Durkin and former CFO Spencer Newman. 3 executives who the suit states were instrumental in the spreading of false information. So the second one is actually pinpointing them specifically, which is awesome because the first one, a lot of people were upset over that because, well, we're wanting the big guys to actually get some sort of ding against them instead of just like hiding in the shadows and keep doing whatever they're doing.
This one seems to be the one that's going to actually, well, I guess I should say maybe yield some results. But there's already been some people either leaving, or I guess you could say they're resigning, but really they're resigning because of this, right? So at least it seems that there's some results so far. I don't think Bobby Kotick is going anywhere, to be honest. The guy makes,
even if he went somewhere, it wouldn't matter anymore because he's obviously set for life at this point.
Right,
Anyway.
right. I mean, the guy is making hundreds of millions of dollars every year. I highly doubt he will be affected by this in any way, shape, or form. But on more towards the Blizzard side, I guess if you go a little lower, it seems like some people are being affected by it. So we'll see. Hopefully they'll take this and turn it into something positive. Maybe they can come back from this and restructure the way they do things in their for their day-to-day work environment. It shouldn't be the way it is, obviously. So.
What about Call of Duty? Do you play Call of Duty still?
I used to be pretty big into Call of Duty. I'd say up until maybe, well, I gotta say, Modern Warfare 2 to me was like the peak. That was like my favorite. But I kept playing probably all the way up until Black Ops 1. After that, I kind of dropped off. I'd try them out here and there. And I know Call of Duty fans will hate me for saying this, but I just felt like it was a lot of the same thing over and over. I know you would make changes. I get that. I don't know. It just felt too similar to me. Too many different games to try, And then I jumped back in with Modern Warfare, the reboot one that came out, what was it, 2 years ago now, I think? And I actually really liked that game. I thought it was pretty good. The campaign was actually really interesting. And then since then, I've played Warzone here and there, but I don't love Warzone as much as everyone else. I think it's, a fun thing to play with a friend here and there, but not really my jam a lot. So yeah, I'd say I've kind of.
So you're not going to be affected by any game that would be a part of any of this? I mean, is there?
Not really, I guess. Now that you mention it out loud, I'm thinking not really. The only one I have interest in is Overwatch, which it's not something that's going to kill me if Overwatch 2 doesn't come out anytime soon.
What about Tony Hawk?
You know what? I used to play Tony Hawk back in the day, just like all of us. I never picked up the remasters. Were they pretty good or what?
Yeah, they're amazing, but it's still just technically the same game. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to play through these challenges again, but I mean, I used to play Tony Hawk 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a million others all day, every day. And the amount of times that I have played 1 and 2 all the way through and gotten all the missions and secret tapes and all that, I can only do it so many times. So even though I super love the remake and they did a great job on it, it's still midway through. I'm like, oh yeah, but I've done this about 200 times in the past. So I'm
sure. No, I totally get that. I think I just had other games to play at the time, and so I passed up on it. But I will say the only game that would really, if for some reason this game got affected, was Sekiro. I know Sekiro from Software made that game, but Activision published it. So if they were to make a sequel to it and now it's not going to happen or something like that, then that would really bum me out. But I don't know.
I wonder if From Software doesn't own the rights to Sekiro. I'm curious how that's split up.
That's a good question, because I got to say, I think From Software, in my opinion, is one of the few companies who I feel that ever since I've been playing their games, they haven't put out any game that I would consider to be bad. I mean, even if you don't like the Souls games, I think most people can acknowledge they're well-made games, and they don't do crappy business practices either. So I'm hoping, I know eventually everyone falls, but I'm hoping this keeps up. So I don't know. I'm trying to see, is Sekiro owned by Activision? Published by Activision?
Published doesn't really mean much.
Right.
Like, I don't think they own the rights to it. I just think they
I don't
published
think
it.
so either. That would be the only one. But knowing From Software, I don't know if they would make a sequel to Sekiro. Seems like a game that they would just make one and done. But I hope I'm wrong about that. Yeah, man. Otherwise, I think I'd be in the clear. I have some friends who are going to be suffering. They're going to be very upset over this, probably because I know their games will be affected in some fashion. You know, whether it's how long it takes to come out, or the quality of it, or whatever. Because people are walking out, like you said. People are refusing to work. And I'm sure this isn't just going to stop overnight. So
Let's say, however this ends, you're talking years before we would
oh yeah.
see anything of any real substance being
Hmm.
created after all of this fiasco. How do they continue to work with all of this going on? That's what I'm wondering.
So do you think right now, if we could have an inside look at, Blizzard Studios right now, do you think people are actively working right now at this very moment? Do you think some work is still going on, or what do you think?
I'm only saying yes because there's no way that the higher ups are going to let absolutely nothing happen until all this is
Right.
done, because it's going to take like a year or two before all this to finish.
Right, right.
And there's no way they're just going to have what? Oh, you guys can just stay home. We'll keep paying you. And you can
Yeah.
just do nothing until all this gets worked out. Just hang tight, you know?
I think you're probably right. It obviously everyone's probably working, but I kind of think of it, let's say in my own job, let's say there was a movement, all the teachers were striking or something. Yeah, okay. I think people would still, the people who are not part of that would obviously still have to work, but it wouldn't be a normal, day of work. Let's put it that way.
They're doing whatever they have to do to get by. They're
Right,
not
right,
doing
right.
any work that is going to spark the next game that's going to sell hundreds of millions of copies.
Can you imagine a worker goes up to their boss today? Hey, boss, I got this great idea for Overwatch 2. Get out of my face, Gary. I don't
Yes.
want to hear this right
He has like 4 stacks of paperwork.
now. We'll keep an eye on that, man. I don't really know if there's much else to talk about it. It kind of sucks, especially for people who are big Activision Blizzard fans. I guess for me in this particular case, it doesn't really affect me in the sense of gaming. In the other way, I hope things work out well for them because it's clearly not okay to have a work environment like
My
that.
biggest struggle is Diablo 2, because I do have a huge history with that game. I played it for years
Sure.
and years and years on my PC, and it was like the game I played with my friends. And I
Right.
was looking forward to that. And it comes out here real soon. And I'm sitting there wondering, like, okay, like, do I even get it? Do I not? How far do you take this sort of things? Let's say it's a game you really like, but the company's being really crap. Do you get it anyway and you just not like tie the two together? Because honestly, I'm not that big of an activist where if it's something I super love, I'm not gonna not get it because the company's doing something bad. They're the ones who need to change. They can't expect
Right.
the normal everyday public to just like react to anything they do and decide whether they get a game or not based on how they're acting. I think that's just asking too much from people, and I
Yeah.
am just gonna go out there and get this game. But the more bigger thing is, I don't even know if I'm really gonna enjoy it that much because it's been so long. I don't know, like just like I
Well,
was saying with Tony Hawk, I played so much of it back in the day. When I'm playing it again, I see myself after a few hours being like, yeah, okay, I do remember this
right.
all a little too well. And it's not as exciting to go through with it for the 200th time, you know.
So two things on that. Like, first of all, the whole thing about, do you still purchase the game even if the company is, you don't agree with what they're doing? To me, this is a tricky question. It just depends. If it comes to, a video game company making video games, or a movie production, or whatever it is, when it's something large like that, there's a lot of people working on it. I usually say, you know what, I'm still going to support it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Are the people at the top scummy? Sure. But there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people, whether it's movies or video games or whatever, that have probably worked on this, and them getting lower sales is not really gonna. I mean, sure, it'll send a message to the top, but it's also gonna affect the people who have done nothing wrong. So when I look at situations like this, I still just go for it, whatever. Now, let's say I go to a local, I don't know, Target or something. Sorry, Target. Okay, the one right here where I live, and I have a crappy experience there. They treat me like crap. Well, then yeah, I'm not going to go there anymore. I think that's a little easier for me to carry out, and there's plenty of other places I can go. So for me, it's back and forth. I can pick and choose, I guess. Now, whether people think that's okay is whatever. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the game itself, Diablo 2, I've never played. You gotta understand, I started PC gaming maybe I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago or something. It hasn't been that long, right? So before that, I missed out on a ton of games that were either only on PC or heavily, PC inspired. Like that's where everyone played it. So games like the Half-Life games, for example, I finally started catching up on those, a few years back. Portal, I played those, love them. Diablo, I never got around to. Never played any of the Diablos. I tried 3 out briefly with a friend. But then my friend was just, oh, I don't have time to play, whatever, so I just dropped off. So if you do get 2 and you want to play it, then maybe I'll play it with you and give it a shot because I've never played those and people say great things about it. So
it's one of the greatest of all time kind of games. It really is. So that's what's
awesome.
struggling so much because it's like them actually remaking Super Mario Galaxy or something.
Right,
like,
right.
Not just touching it up, but this looks quite
like
substantial. Yeah.
Gotcha. Let me see. When is it?
It's hard to deny it, but I just hope there's enough. I just forgot a lot about the game because it's been so long since I played it, and maybe because again, Tony Hawk 1 and 2, I played that way after the fact of the initial release. Like I've been playing 1 and 2 remakes for a while. Like they had a 1 and 2 remake on the original Xbox. I used to play a ton. I think it was called Tony Hawk 2X or some mess like that, and I played it a ton there. And then I've been going back to those games for the last like 20 years. With Diablo 2, I haven't played it since its original like release, and maybe 2 or 3 years afterwards, and I haven't been back since. So I guarantee you, I forgot 99% of that game anyway. So that's what wants me coming back so much because it was so important and it's been so long since I've played. I guess screw all this current stuff that's going on because yeah, it sucks, but I have such nostalgia. And
I get it. I totally get it, man. Just go for it. And I'm watching some videos now. This seems like a game I would enjoy. So if you end up getting it, let me know. Maybe I'll pick it up. You could try it out.
And I might get it. The platform is the big question too, because it's on all of them. And I'm debating: do I get it on my Switch? Do I get it on PS5? Do I get it on what? I don't know.
Is it crossplay? I wonder. Or no?
So they're doing cross save, but they're not doing cross play.
Oh, damn.
Which it just sounds like they're just trying to get more money.
Yeah, that would have made the difference for me because
what would you play it on?
I would play it on my PC. I mean, any game that is, let me see. Obviously, Switch exclusive, get it on Switch, where I can only get, obviously. PS5 exclusive, only get it on PS5. Anything else, I'd say 99% of anything else I'm getting on my PC, except if it's a game that I feel is something I really want to play on my Switch. Like the new Hollow Knight game, when it drops, I'm going to get that on my Switch. But now things are going to change come December, right? With the Steam Deck. So once the Steam Deck drops, I'm push that 99% up to 99.5% now.
Yeah, if I already had the Steam Deck, I would be buying it on PC for sure.
I
wouldn't even be thinking about it.
It's the perfect complement to my setup. I have my PC where I play literally almost every game. Switch, you get your big exclusives, a few, 3 or 4 or 5 every year. Okay, I get them. PS5, like when I think of PS5 since November, I didn't get mine until almost December, let's say. The games I've bought on PS5 have been Returnal, which I by the way, I saw you post about Returnal a while ago, and I know you weren't so hot on it, so we got to talk about that. I feel like I can maybe swing you the other way, but that's a conversation for another day.
Well, that wasn't me because I have yet to even play it. So.
Oh, okay. You know what? No, maybe did you post something about it just not seeming interesting to you, or some of the mechanics you're here? Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking of. Okay, fine. But anyway, Returnal, which I actually really enjoyed, is one. Ratchet and Clank, I also really enjoyed, and then Demon's Souls, I loved. So those are the 3 games that have justified the PS5 purchase so far. So, and I bought Persona 5 Royal. I haven't played it yet. Just that game.
Before we move on, I do want to talk about what you're talking about right now a little more. Sure. So they kind of blew their load though. Like they had those 3 games right at the very beginning. There really isn't anything new PS5 to look forward to. Anything new is also coming PS4 and PS5. Does that take anything away from you? Because it does for me.
If a game is dropping on PS5 and PS4, I'm instantly less excited for it. And I know people can sit here and argue all they want. Why does it bother you? Why does it matter to you? But it's really not that hard to figure out. It's not going to be what it could have been. It's not going to reach its full potential if you're dropping it on a lower system. I mean, I don't know what's so hard to understand about that. And it's not the same as how PC does it, for example. These things are designed very deliberately for these consoles, so to me, it's a different story. So the fact that Horizon is coming to PS4 kind of bums me out a little bit. Although I know that game started off as a PS4 game, so that's more forgivable. God of War, the next God of War game that we have no release date for and is coming out probably next year, the fact that that's coming to PS4, I don't understand that. It kind of boggles my mind, to be honest. So yeah, but then meanwhile, you have games like Returnal that came out not that long after the launch, and it's only on PS5. So I don't know. For me, yeah, I agree with you. It does kind of take away from it a little bit.
And we're gonna get into it later, but the whole blue box thing. What does have me excited about all that more than anything, and this only reason I've been following it so much, is it is a PS5 exclusive, whatever this ends up being.
Whatever it is. I'm so. Anyway, I'll save that because I am so strange.
So that is the most exciting part. Is like, ooh, cool, a really high-end PS5 game. That's exactly what I want. Yep. Well, if that's what this even is.
I'm excited for, I guess, to wrap this part up. I got the PS5 because when the PS5 was first announced, I was like, there's no need for me to get it right away. That's fine, whatever. And then it came out, and then I remember Spider-Man Miles Morales came out, and Sackboy came out. And both games looked pretty good to me, especially Sackboy because I could play that with my kids, and it looked pretty fun. So I was like, all right, I grabbed both of those on PS4, right? Played them. We had a blast with Sackboy, and I really enjoyed Miles Morales. I was like, okay, I'm good. There's no need. And then Demon Souls came out, and I was like, man, I really want this game, but whatever, I'll hold off. And then they announced that Returnal was coming out, and they showed some footage from it, and then Ratchet and Clank. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to buy his PS5 as a sort of investment. I know that every generation, I really enjoy a lot of these PlayStation exclusives, and I don't mind if I buy this PlayStation, I play 3 huge games on it for the next 4 months, and then I don't touch it again for a few months. That really doesn't bother me because I have so many other things to play on, So I guess for me, it's more of like a long-term investment kind of thing. And if
it's pretty long-term though, because now with
you're right.
The new Gran Turismo and God of War and
Horizon
now all being PS4 and PS5. I mean, that's the next year or two at least until we get what other. I mean, we don't know what could they possibly announce that could be as big as Gran Turismo or God of War or Horizon that could come to PS5. We probably have at least 2 years of waiting. I'm saying there's not a single just PS5 for a good while.
If you say if that's the argument, then yes, I agree with you. That's kind of crazy that now looking at it through those lenses, then I don't see a PS5 exclusive until maybe at the end of next year if they're keeping something tight under wraps, but if not, then the following year. That's kind of crazy, to be honest.
Because I'm just thinking like, well, I could have just kept my PS4 and technically would have been okay.
Actually, those 3, Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, and Demon Souls, those are the 3.
There is like 8 Xbox Series SX games coming that are exclusive to the new gen. I want to say there's 8 of them, and they're coming next year and the year after.
That's huge. I mean, that's awesome. I'm super excited about it, man. The fact that they all come to PC too just makes my life even easier. I just wish PlayStation would do that eventually. I know they're heading in that direction. I just wish I could kind of speed things up a little bit. If I could play the new God of War day one on my computer, man, that would be amazing. I would just get rid of my PlayStation.
Do you think these 3 games that are out PS5 exclusive right now is why PlayStation is the 10 million versus like 7 million on Xbox? Or do you think it's just a matter of what they can make and what's just what people can get their hands on? Or you think it's the fact of the PS4 being so large and so popular, it's just bleeding into PS5 until, like, let's say there's so many people that don't even understand that the next Elder Scrolls may not even hit PlayStation, or that all of these Arcane games who made Dishonored and all of this, who's making that new game, that they're not going to hit PlayStation, but don't really understand the only reason it's actually going to hit to where people maybe adjust what system they buy when it's just out. And the fact that there's 3 exclusives right now on PlayStation 5, do you think that really is what's pushing it right now? Or is...
Yeah, so I think it's a combination of things, right? I think that when a console has such a successful run like they've had, especially the PS4, does that goodwill carry over into PS5? Of course. But besides that, I think you have two camps here, right? You have people who don't really even care what an exclusive is. They're buying a PS5 because they feel that, oh, this is the system I want. I had the PS4 and I'm going to play all these third party games like the sports games or Call of Duty or things like that, right? I think there's a
Yeah.
large audience of people. I think sometimes people forget in these Facebook groups that we're in that those are literally thousands of people versus, millions of people who are buying these consoles. That's the first thing. But secondly, do I think these exclusives are what's helping? Maybe a small part. I don't think that's the focus. I think it eventually will become a bigger focus, but right now I think it has to do with just the goodwill that Sony has at the moment. I don't even think it's just from the PS4 because it happened before too with the PS3 into the PS4, and the PS3 and the 360 were pretty close by the end. So I don't think they were necessarily like crushing Xbox or something because they weren't. The PS3 and the 360 were relatively close, and actually 360 was winning for a while. So I don't know, man. I think Sony has goodwill right now, and people are holding on to that. And it didn't help that Xbox One, when it launched, they kind of that guy really botched things a lot, and I think that we're kind of still feeling the effects of that now. Obviously, have they turned things around a lot? Of course they have. So who knows how the next few years are going to go, especially with Xbox. I think if Microsoft manages their studios correctly, they could be knocking out big exclusives, multiple exclusives.
Their goal is to have one every quarter.
One every quarter. I mean, can you imagine that? That's amazing. That's huge. We just got to make sure now that the exclusives are on the level that some of these PlayStation ones are, And again, I know some of these people get so wrapped up in this whole PlayStation versus Xbox thing. It's so corny to me. For me, I just want the more good, high quality games you give me, I'm playing them all. Like I don't care what system they're on, I'll play them. So it's not about I think PlayStation exclusives are way better. I think Xbox has had some really good ones. I just think they need to push them a little further. Like the Medium I played, for example, which I guess now it's coming to PlayStation, but at the moment it wasn't. I really enjoyed it. I just think it could have stepped up a little bit in terms of the quality of the game and maybe the story, things like that, But I think they'll get there. They're clearly making all the right moves, and they're being way more user friendly than PlayStation is in every other aspect possible. So I gotta imagine all of that will lead to them increasing sales, or maybe I'm wrong, and people are just like, nope, PlayStation, that's it, I'm buying it. So I don't know, man. We'll see.
All right. Let's go on to the next news story here.
Yeah.
So number 2, PlayStation Plus subscriptions are down. PS Plus has lost a huge number of subscriptions this year.
Well, I think but this wouldn't make sense for such a large number. I was gonna say a lot of people get PlayStation Plus, through some promotion or something when they get their PlayStation or game or whatever, and then they just let it lapse, right? But would that really that's always happening, so that can't be the reason for that. I really don't know why could it be Game Pass? Maybe people are moving over; they don't want to pay for two things. I don't know. It's an interesting question. What do you think?
I put it here because I cannot figure it out for the life of me. And I was seeing if there was any idea you had. My idea is Gold and PlayStation Plus, in terms of like the games they offer, are not nearly as good as they used to be.
Oh, that's
maybe that
true.
has something to do with it. But Xbox Gold has an excuse because they're putting in all their work into Game Pass, and I can see why they have a service that they also provide that's going to try to compete with another service that they have. I think that'd actually be kind of dumb if they kept offering, like, if their offerings were almost too good with games for gold, people may be like, maybe not wanting Game Pass as much. It's so different of things. I don't even think that's even true. PlayStation has been on this incline of people buying the system, using online. But here's what's weird, and this is another theory I have. So if you look at the games, those 3 games, that Demon Souls, Returnal, and Ratchet. Their sales are very low, actually.
Yeah,
Ratchet
they're not great.
has only sold like 1 million copies, and then the other 2 were way lower than that.
Yeah, Returnal was 600,000 almost copies. I was like, wow, why is that so low?
So maybe people are
Well,
What they're buying up the system, but they're not really using PlayStation Plus much. Why do you think they wouldn't want to be using PlayStation Plus now compared to the past?
PS Plus has lost a lot of subscribers and active users since COVID lockdown started ending. Could that have something to do with it too? Because even though these lockdowns are ending and people are going out more and stuff, maybe people would still keep their Game Pass thing because it's such a good value. Maybe PS Plus, they're just like, well,
Uh,
I don't know. That seems like such an obvious one, but I don't know if it's
no,
too
that may
obvious. But
be
it's
it
not.
because it's maybe just down compared to last year. Maybe that's all they're saying. And
Right,
last year
right.
couldn't be any more up. So maybe that's all it is. Maybe it just has
It
such
could
a
be.
huge uptick last year. And now that people are out now and not stuck at home playing video games all day, that's naturally just going to go down. And the only
Right.
reason it's not on the other side is just because, well, you kind of have to have Xbox Gold or PS Plus to play games
Right.
online and stuff, right? But if you're not gonna get Game Pass and then not play half the games that require any online thing, what you're just not gonna play those online. Like if you're
Yeah,
gonna pay for a service, you're gonna want to like use the online. So they kind of go hand in hand, and they sell them both hand in hand because they just sell
that's
Game
true.
Pass Ultimate, which comes with the gold. So
Yep.
that's not going to make it go down, but PS Plus would have to go down if you're not going to play it as much. Yeah.
Right, if it's a single thing. And I pulled up the numbers, and you were pretty close to what you're saying. So Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, 1.1 million units. I guess when did the game come out again? It came out June, right? So
Wait, so
talking
what do you
about
think about Ratchet and Clank alone? All right, so Nintendo has an exclusive, right? Freaking
right.
ARMS will sell like 8 million copies. So why is
Yeah.
Ratchet selling 1 million? What's
Yeah,
happening there?
I find that so strange. I feel that PlayStation and Xbox's exclusives, for them to sell, let's say, tens of millions of copies, they have to be something that's like universally loved, top tier. Like, let me think of or a character everyone knows, like Spider-Man, for example. Right? That thing sold a ton. But then when Nintendo comes out with its exclusives, whether they are great or whether they are just good, I feel that they just sell like crazy. I don't know. I think people put a lot more stock into exclusives on Nintendo's hardware, which makes sense, right? That's their main focus. And also, they just some of the games they make are really really high quality. Like look at Mario Kart 8, the remaster that they did on Switch. The thing has sold like what is it? Something absurd, like 30 plus million copies or
Yes,
something.
yes. It is over 30.
It's
And
ridiculous.
that's what I'm
Or
saying. Like,
I don't know, man. I find the fact that Ratchet has only sold 1 million copies, that's crazy. And Returnal, I understand Returnal is not your typical everyone's gonna play this kind of game, but 560,000 copies only, that seems super low. I don't know what's up with that. And
yeah,
Demon
how
Souls,
can PlayStation even be happy with these sales? There's no way they are.
and they just bought that company too. Listen, the game is a good game. It just sucks that it doesn't seem to be selling well. I don't know why that is.
Story number 3, Nintendo Switch has outsold PS3 and Xbox 360. Xbox 360 is at 86 million, PS3 was at 87 million. There's only 1 million difference there. That's funny. And then
That
Switch is 89 million.
89 million units. Jesus Christ. I remember when the Switch was first shown and all these comments, oh, it's going to be another failure. This is going to suck. Here we are 89 million units later. Jesus.
Switch, I mean, it's bound to outsell the PS4. If it's already at 90
Oh
million,
yeah. It's gotta. I mean, let's see. PS4, I'm looking quick on Wikipedia. I don't know how accurate this is, but it's got to be close. PS4, what, 116 million. They're definitely going to pass that. That's another 27 million, and especially if they plan on keeping the Switch around longer than they did the last few consoles. Yeah, I could definitely see that. But right now, it's right beneath the Wii. The Wii was 101, definitely going to pass that. PlayStation 2, 100, or excuse me, PlayStation Original was 102. PlayStation 4, 116. We still think it'll pass that, right? I don't know. Okay, so Game Boy and Game Boy Color, 118. Do we think it'll pass that? But it won't get up to the Nintendo DS, which is at 154, and the PlayStation 2 is at 155.
yeah,
Holy crap.
I don't think that, but
That's crazy. But I guess it would depend on how many more years the Switch is planning on kicking around, you know?
I'm just surprised because I'm putting in my head PS3 and Xbox 360, though everyone seemed to have at least one of those two.
I know. I know. They got up there though. They were 87 and 84 million. I mean, those are some good numbers, but yeah, I think things, and you got to remember too, actually no, that happened a little bit. No, that makes sense. So when was the whole crash that everything had? That was in 2008, right? So
Yeah.
that's a few years after they came out. But I don't know if
Switch
that might
is
have affected
selling faster than the Wii, and the Wii was like
it.
sold to actually anybody. It's
It's
sold to kids, it's sold to grandmas.
unbelievable.
It was a like cultural phenomenon, and somehow the Switch is outselling,
Dude,
like outpacing a Wii.
the thing about the Switch that I love so much is it's just such a well-made system. It's so easy to bring around. It's so convenient. I don't know. I think that's what people love about it so much. It's just perfect for those people who, you got a lot going on. Maybe you can't sit down in front of the TV. You can't sit down in front of what. There's times where I'll play my Switch on the couch, right 10 feet away from my TV, just because I want to play on the couch. It's
Maybe
just
a
super
parent
convenient.
is way more wanting to buy one for their kid compared to a previous console because that console has
Maybe.
to hook up to their TV. The
Right.
fact that they can buy a Switch and know that their kid can play and not have to worry about the television at all, and
Right.
they can
Right.
keep watching whatever they watch, maybe that has a huge selling point.
I think you might be right. I have friends. I know a guy who's a cop who has a Switch, and he'll just on his downtime, just waste, nothing to do until it's time to start again. Then he plays. Or teachers, myself, on your break or whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's just such a convenient, easy thing to use. And I know a lot of people say the same thing. Why would I ever play this game on my Switch instead of on my nice PC? Well, it's very simple. It's just about the fact that you can play it anywhere. That's the draw. And then even with the Steam Deck, as someone who's excited for the Steam Deck. I don't really put them in the same category. Will the Steam Deck sales bite into the Nintendo Switch? Maybe some. But let's be honest, the majority of people with a Switch, they're playing the Switch exclusives on there, right? So I don't think it's going to change that much.
News story number 4, Back for Blood open beta
Yep.
starts August 12th through the 16th for everybody. I think it's going on
Mm.
right now if you pre-order the game.
Yeah, I got one. So I was meaning to give you one, actually, a code if you were interested. I was able to get an early one.
Were you able to play it yet?
The other night I fired it up. I was going to play with some friends. Then all my friends could not get on, so I haven't played it yet. So I'm hoping maybe tonight at some point, if you or another friend or someone has time, we can at least try it out. Because I turned it on quickly, just kind of looked around, messed with some settings. The game looks good. It's a little confusing when you first get out into the hub area that you start in. But yeah, I got to spend more time with it. So
I watched like 4 or 5 reviews, and every one of them said the exact same thing. So they're saying it's very well made. It's a very good game. The only complaint they have is the PvP, but I never played much of the PvP in Left 4 Dead, so I don't know what to really compare it to. And I have no memories of playing PvP with Left 4 Dead all day, every day that so many other people did. And they're saying that's missing from this Back for Blood. Did you
gotcha.
ever play this PvP mode on Left 4 Dead back in the day?
I never messed with it much. I usually just played with friends and we did the campaign stuff.
Yeah, I just did the campaign missions. I never did the PvP.
I'd be willing to give it a try though, whatever, see what it's all about. It looks like a game I'd definitely be interested in, especially the fact that it's co-op. But yeah, let's give it a shot and see where it goes from there. I can send one your
I
way for
would
my
play.
emulator.
Yes. I do want to
Yeah,
give
yeah,
it a shot.
definitely. Yep,
Okay,
I,
cool.
I pre-registered and it's like for a chance to win a code, and then what do you know, I got one. So
All right. And then let's get into what we've been playing or watching. Still playing Halo 4. So
very
I
nice.
restarted because I wanted to play with my kid.
Uh-huh.
And we're on the 5th mission right now. So there is one thing. So last time I was praising it a lot. It is really bad and cringe with the story and cutscenes. These weird alien people that are very human-like, and it looks like
Okay.
you're watching, I don't know, a bad movie of Tron or something. These people look and sound really bad. That aside, I just saw like 2 really cringe cutscenes, and I'm like, oh, please skip. When you're playing it, it's still amazing, and I'm still just all about it. I'm still working my way through Bug Fables. It's a long RPG, but
Okay.
it just keeps getting better and better.
I gotta try that one.
The combat system, it's getting really complicated. So Paper Mario, and okay, Mario, you can either use a hammer where you gotta like hold down the joystick, let go at the right moment, and it hits extra damage. Or if you're doing a jumping attack, you have to like hit A right when you land on the enemy so you can get like a double or triple jump. It does those same mechanics, just with bugs. And so there's weird, like, there's like a praying mantis thing where like you have to like time exactly when the range attack hits him, so it hits him a second time or whatever.
Oh,
But
I gotcha.
when you're chaining it with 3 or 4 people in your party, and every one of them's different in how you have to interact with the special move you're using, it starts getting really complex and really starts screwing with your head, because you want to get like the most optimal damage, or in the same way of like when they're attacking you, and if you time the buttons correctly, you can like stop a lot of the damage that they imply on you. It starts becoming a requirement of you doing that. If you weren't to interact with it and just get least amount of damage output or input, you're gonna die way quick. So it's almost like a requirement for you to get it all down. Oh, it's expecting it of you. Where in Paper Mario, it's almost just like an extra bonus of you doing some extra damage, but it's not requiring you to time it correctly. Where this game, if you don't, then you're gonna die, kind of situation.
I see. So you have to get good.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
And so it's a lot more fun because still playing Death's Door. I'm about halfway through now, and I wish I could just. I need to send you clips of this game because, oh my God, it's so pretty. It's just oozing with style so much. And every time I see a new area, it's a lot like Zelda. I don't know how to describe it, because every time you go into a new area, be like a desert area or like a really huge mansion with a super huge big garden that goes multiple screens of really good at putting you into an atmosphere where you're just spending as much time looking around at everything than you are playing the game, because you just can't get over the fact of how visually striking the art style is. But
I've been watching videos of that one, and it looks really, really cool. I'm just trying to be better about, focusing right now. That's literally the only reason I haven't played any of these games. I'm trying to just through all the Halo things, and then I'm definitely gonna play some of those. Like Bug Fables, I've wanted to, and Death's Door looks really cool. So
Death's Door's getting pretty hard. The last boss that I played, I've probably died at least 15 times to it.
Oh wow, okay.
And it was driving me insane. Anyway, but man, I love it. And then I've been rewatching Scrubs, and I'm in the 5th season of that already. And I've been speedballing through it because I'm playing a lot of these games. I'll be playing it on my phone from my Xbox while I'm watching Scrubs. Is pretty much how it's going down.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Scrubs?
I have not watched Scrubs yet. I know. It's a big deal. I've wanted to watch it. The thing is, though, these days, still have time to watch TV. I make time to watch TV. But the thing is, if it's just me and I have some free time, I always want to play games. So the only time I actually watch TV is with my wife. So if it's a show we're watching together, we'll watch it. So I just got to throw it out there. Listen, we got to watch Scrubs. It's done. Because I've been wanting to watch it forever. All my friends who were Scrubs fans, what's the name of the dude who's the partner guy, black guy? What's his name again?
Donald Faison.
Yeah,
the actor? I mean, the actor is Donald Faison. The character in the show is Turk.
Turk, that's who it was. Yeah, all my friends would call me all the time. They're like, "Rudy, you're Turk. You're Turk." I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about at all. But okay, I'll have to watch this show. So I have no idea. This was before I had a beard too. I guess he's clean shaven. I don't know. But anyway,
he has a beard again now. So
gotcha. Yeah, I've heard a lot about it. It looks like a great show, so I'll definitely watch it.
The Office, they started a little podcast where they're rewatching episodes and doing a podcast over it. And then so Scrubs started doing the same thing. So that's why I'm watching it, because I've been listening to them rewatching the show and doing an episode podcast on it. And then so I've been keeping up with it and watching the episodes along as well. And because I've seen it so many times, it's one of those shows to where like The Office or Parks and Recs, where I watched it a whole bunch of times. So I don't have to pay attention to it as much. So it's a really good thing to stick in the background while I play a game. That's one of the main reasons why I'm watching it, because if it was something I haven't watched already, it'd be way harder to watch.
Yep. No, I'm definitely going to get to that one. I've heard nothing but great things. We're actually, when I go, I'll tell you about some of the other shows that are similar in nature. A bunch of seasons have passed, highly revered shows that I'm catching up on. So I actually got to throw in notes. So what am I playing? Okay. I was playing Halo Wars, right? And I really liked, as someone who's new to the Halo campaigns, not multiplayer, but just campaign wise. Obviously, I played 1, 2, and 3. Really enjoyed them for what they were. And then to see them change the Halo world and put them into a RTS game, I thought was pretty cool. Actually, it was well done. I was pretty invested in the story dare I say, a little more than the Halo games for some reason. I don't know. It just seemed a little more interesting playing in that form. So I just beat it, but the thing is, it was really tough, like super tough, to the point where I'm sitting here as a 32-year-old guy. I don't have time anymore to do what I used to do. I can't just power through and try 27 times. So after filling a mission, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, it's time-based mission. You gotta pay attention. If anyone's played RTS games, you know what I'm talking about. You have to be keep an eye on your base and keep an eye on this and keep an eye on that. It was just ridiculous. I was playing all of the games on heroic, and I started struggling a lot. You know what? Let's just turn this down. So I put it on normal, and guess what? Then I had a great time the rest of the game. And I never do that normally. I would never do that with the other Halo games, but this one I was like, I have to.
I'm
So
playing normal on Halo 4 because I'm playing with my kid because I was
right, that makes
playing
sense.
heroic, but there
Right.
was no way he was dying every 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. But I don't know. For RTS games, I just like it's not my strong suit. So I bumped it down, and then and yeah, and again, I had a blast, and I'm looking forward to Halo Wars 2 to end this whole Halo saga, let's say. So looking forward to that. Even more so than that, I'm really looking for Halo 3 ODST because I've heard nothing but great things from you and other people about how good the story is. So I just fired it up last night just to did like the intro cutscene just to get myself excited about it. I'll probably keep playing tonight. So where do you put ODST? You put it up there? You think
Yeah,
it's one of
yeah,
the better
yeah.
ones? Okay, great. Definitely looking forward to that. And I can already tell in the first 2-minute cutscene that this game is going to be a little more personal, with the characters.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, oh, insert Spartan 5 here and some random commander here and some elite here that I don't care about. It seems like they're naming all of them off the bat. They all have names that stood out in my head right away. Definitely gonna play that tonight. I'm looking forward to getting back to, especially after that little break with the different genre RTS game. Looking forward to getting back to shooting again. So that's exciting. The next few I had already talked about last time. Skyward Sword. Got to be honest. I haven't really touched it. No reason for that really. Zelda Skyward Sword is great. I just whatever haven't really touched my Switch lately, so I'll get
Where are
back to
you
that.
at right now?
Oh man, I'm still early on. I'm in the first temple. Is it the Skyview Temple, or am I have that wrong? I think that's what it's called. I haven't gotten very far at all, to be honest. I feel like I gotta be in the right mode to play Zelda, no matter how good it is.
Yeah.
So I think when school starts, that'll probably be the game that I bring with me and play on downtime and stuff. So we'll see about that one. Elder Lilies is awesome still, but I gotta say I've been neglecting it a little bit just because of Halo. I got a little further, made some more progress, beat a few more bosses. Great game. I'll just keep playing that one on the side. I gotta say, this last one though is what has me most excited for some games coming out this year, is because we beat Dying Light, my buddy and I. Awesome game. I feel it has movement and parkour like no other game I've played. I can't believe this is a 2015 game, I want to say. That just blows my mind that this game came out that long ago and it feels this good and it looks this good and it plays this well. It just got me more and more excited. When you play a game that's been out for 5 or 6 years and then the sequel's coming shortly, it's just such an exciting feeling. Like knowing that there's a better version of this coming out with more
Well, we
more to
hope
offer.
better.
Well, we hope. But let's just say, by all accounts, from what I've seen, it looks like it's going to be a step up from this, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, it was super enjoyable. I wish more games would do 4-player co-op all the way through, and even if not 4, make it 2, but make it so that we can play the whole entire game together. And that's what Dying Light was. So I thought that was really cool how they did that. So super excited for 2.
When does the second? It's this year, right?
December 17th or something like that, somewhere around
Okay.
there. Yeah, so let's hope let's hope they don't let us down. It looks great. Hoping it'll actually be great. Now for movies and shows, we tried to start watching the Suicide Squad the other day. We were just I don't know, my wife was super tired from work and I was kind of knocked out too. We watched maybe like 30 minutes of it. It was okay, enjoyable enough, nothing crazy so far. I gotta say, I thought the last Suicide Squad was pretty bad. I didn't like it at all. So my expectations are not that high. Have you seen either of these movies?
I tried watching the previous one, only made it
Uh-huh.
like 30 minutes and just turned it off because it was so
It's
crap.
it's not a great movie. This new one seems to be better so far. Is it going to be a good movie though? We'll see. Maybe we'll finish that tonight. Yeah, so I'll have some thoughts on that
What
next
are you
time.
watching it on?
I'm watching it on HBO Max. I guess it's
Oh,
on
okay.
there for a few weeks.
I have HBO Max. Okay.
Yeah, so it's right
Worth a
on there.
watch.
Give it a shot. It's a 2-hour movie or so. Nothing crazy. So I gotta say the intro was kind of cool. It pulled me in. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep watching and see how it goes. James Gunn is a better director too. and I
I
actually did
agree.
like Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I thought 2 was okay. So we'll see. We'll see how I feel about this. So besides that, I haven't really made any progress on Witcher and Loki. They're just sitting there. Like I said, every time I have free time, I'm like, oh, let me go play some games. So haven't moved forward in those. I want to watch Loki before that new Marvel series comes out, which is only a few days from now. Probably not going to make it on time, but what is it called? What If? Where they do all the scenarios,
Yeah.
changing things. That looks kind of interesting to me. So this is how I've been going with the Disney shows, though, or with the Marvel shows. I watch the first episode or something, and then people on the line talk all about it. Everyone gets excited for it, and then the new show is coming out, and everyone starts talking about that. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should catch up. And then I finally catch up, and then I'm behind on the new show. So probably what's gonna happen with Loki. You've watched Loki, right? You watched it through?
No,
Oh,
I
you
need
haven't. Okay.
to.
Yeah, I hear great things about it. So, I've been
I'm
continuing
not
watching.
a huge like superhero dude to
Oh,
begin
okay.
with.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So like I don't hate it. I just don't
Right.
really like love it, but I kind of like it. Oh, it's kinda cool.
I
And
gotcha.
I don't know. I'm way more into movies and things that like make me think a lot, and I'm always questioning like what's gonna happen more
Right. Right.
so than liking the action.
I gotcha. Okay. No, that makes sense. And I will say though, out of the shows they've come out with, Loki seems to be one that's more so on that side of things versus something like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is more action based. Loki seems to kind of mess with your head a little more. Actually, WandaVision probably more so than both of those does that.
Yeah, I
Um,
was so into WandaVision because of that.
yeah. Yep. So I'll watch that. I'll let you know what I think. Castlevania, still been watching. Great show. Not really much more to say about it. It's awesome. It has those. I guess technically it is an anime. It has like those anime vibes, but it seems like a little more Americanized, I guess you could say. But it's great, man. I love it. I love the character who plays Trevor Belmont. I think it's awesome.
Are you
So
in
not much to say
season
about that.
2?
Yeah, I just got to season 2. I finally finished. I know the episodes are super short. As my buddy makes fun of me about this. He's like, Rudy, how long can you watch 4 episodes for? It's just I don't watch it frequently. It's just here and there. But yeah, I
Yeah.
finished season 1. Thought it was great, and I'm excited to see what season 2 offers. I know my brother and I think you as well were saying like season 3. I think it is that gets really
Yeah.
really good.
That was me.
So super excited for that. But yeah, I'm gonna
2
keep watching
does
that.
kind of drag, but you need to watch it because you have to know the context of it all.
Okay.
But
Okay.
season 3, that's when like, oh my gosh, this couldn't be any better.
Uh, can't wait for that. All right. And now this one came out of nowhere last night. Ted Lasso. So I've been hearing a lot about this show. People raving about
So
how.
it's made by Bill Lawrence, who makes Scrubs. He's
Okay.
made a bunch of TV shows. Like I'm
Oh,
trying
okay.
to Spin City. He's behind. He's just a big like not sitcom, but just like comedy shows. He's a
Gotcha.
writer
Okay.
behind a lot of them.
I have heard about this show a ton over the last, let's say, year. And I'm not. This is the funny thing that I always get into it with people about. But I'm not an Apple fan at all, to be honest. I really don't. I don't use Apple products at all. It's not like I'm taking a stand. It's not my preference. I just really don't like any of their products. I think they're overpriced. We can get into all that, okay, before people come for me. But for that reason, and knowing Apple, I thought that. So, for example, Netflix makes original content, right? But you can watch Netflix on any device. That
Yeah.
makes sense. I was always under the impression when Ted Lasso came out and it was on Apple TV that I couldn't watch it on any of my devices because they weren't Apple devices, and I was half right. Because when I finally decided last night, let me just look, okay, let me just check this out. I tried to look for it on my phone, and the app does not appear on the Samsung or on the Android marketplace at all. So like, okay, but then I tried it on my TV, on my Samsung TV, and it did appear. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can watch this somehow. I downloaded the app, and it's the first episode's free. I was like, let me give this a shot. Watched the first episode. It was great. It pulled me right in. Jason Sudeikis is awesome. I love him in anything he's in. Yeah, it grabbed me in right away, and it was hilarious. I was laughing. I was into the story. I was like, okay, I gotta watch this. So there's a free trial. So I did a free trial, and hopefully we can finish this. If not, whatever. I'll pay for a month of it and finish it. But I think season 2's on right now. So I might have
Yeah.
to come back for that. But yeah, I think it's great so far. Have you seen this show yet?
No, but it's my like to do next thing I watch kind of
Gotcha,
thing. I'm
gotcha.
gonna finish Scrubs and then watch it
It's
because
it's great, man.
it's not only the same main director, but and showrunner and all that. But on some of the episodes, like episode 2, is actually directed by the main actor in Scrubs as well, the white guy. He's a
Gotcha.
director, and he directed the second episode.
Okay.
And apparently it won a lot of awards, so I really wanted to watch it for that as well.
Gotcha. I'm gonna keep watching. I'll let you know what I think about that one. But definitely grab me. And it's pretty rare that my wife and I watch a new show and we both really love the first episode. It usually goes one way or the other. But no, we're both into it. So keep watching that. We've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, and oh my god, this show is so funny. I can't get enough of this show. It's great that there's 10 seasons of it because we just pick and choose here and there, randomly. Let's watch an episode or two right now. I just think Larry David is so incredibly funny, and it's like dry humor that he does so well. And he also reminds me of the kid who can't let anything go ever. You're all hanging out and you make a comment to a friend, something about what he's wearing. What's up with that shirt? And then 6 hours later, he's still thinking about it. He comes and confronts you about it. That's Larry David in this show. I mean, it's just awesome. Like, there was an episode I saw recently, just to give an example, where he asked his buddy to pick up food for him from the restaurant. So his buddy picks up the food, he drops it off to him, and it's he got shrimp, right? So he opens the box, and his wife is talking, and you see on his face, he like has this sort of look on his face, like he's disappointed about something. The wife's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, last time we went to, whatever the name of the restaurant, didn't they give us 10 shrimp? She's like, yeah, I think so. He's like, there's only 7 shrimp here. She's like, okay. He's like, I think he took 3 of my shrimp. And then the whole episode turns into him just tracking this guy down and figuring out, where's my shrimp? What did you do with my shrimp? And it's just so many dumb things like that he does, but he's so good at doing it and being awkward. And there's so many big celebrity appearances too in it. Like all these people you've seen in TV shows over the years, they're all in this because this show started in 90 something, I think it is. So it's great, man. Highly recommend it. Super good. And there's even a new season coming out this year, which I thought was crazy. I didn't know the show was still going on. So we'll catch up on that.
I've never seen a single episode. Where are you watching that?
That's also on HBO. Just check out an episode or two. The show is pretty old, so it's not going to look as crisp and clear as some of the newer shows. But man, it's hilarious. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. It's like sort of like dry humor, But in that same vein, we've been watching Friends too. Now, my wife is a huge Friends fan. All she talks about, she loves the show. She's watched it multiple times. I have never watched through the whole show for whatever reason. So that's another one. Ton of seasons. We're just watching here and there, short episodes. It's good. I mean, it's not.
I like it. It's good. It's no like 10 out of 10, or I'm not like crying from laughter or anything. But it is well made. I think it's
exactly. That's how I feel about it. Is it some show? The same way I feel about some of these other shows where you're on the edge of your seat. Oh my god, I can't wait to see what happens. No, is it fun, sort of simple entertainment? Sure, it's something to throw on that. Even if the kids are with us, we could throw that on because it's not. I mean, yeah, they have some jokes in there that are maybe a little inappropriate, but nothing crazy. So
yeah.
Out of those, though, I'd say if you're gonna check out Eddie, just to check it out real quick, do Curb Your Enthusiasm, man. It's something else. It's hilarious. I've never seen Seinfeld, which he's the creator of, but I might watch it now after seeing this show.
We can get into the main topic of Blue Box, and there's a whole lot to get into here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Where do we even start with this?
What we're going to do is I'm just going to start, because this is kind of hard to find a starting point. I'm going to read the PlayStation blog that was posted on April 7th about this game. And we can go from here, and you'll see why I'm going to start here. So PlayStation blog post was created by this Hassan.
I don't know how to say that. Carmen?
Yeah, I don't.
Let's just call him Carmen. That's close enough.
Let's just say Hassan. All right. Which, first of all, I mean, this couldn't look like a more fake name.
It really does. Hassan Karaman. I don't know. I don't know if that's how you say it.
So the name that Kojima made up, Abandon, a cinematic survival sim, hits PS5 later this year. Plan every move, weigh up every decision as you try and escape the sprawling wilderness. Hello, everyone. I'm Hassan, blah, 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 from Blue Box Game Studios based in the Netherlands. The team and I are working on a new title coming exclusively to PS5 this year, and I can't wait to show off some gameplay footage from the game in action. First of all, I just want to say one thing. The team and I, there hasn't been a confirmed single other person that we even know of outside of Hassan in this.
Not one.
Anyway. However, since the game is at an early development stage, apparently it's at an early development stage, but it comes out the end of this year. Okay.
Makes no sense.
However, since the game is at an early development stage, I wanted to announce the game today and show off a little announcement teaser we made. Abandon is the cinematic first-person horror survival shooter set in a highly detailed open-world environment and favors a realistic approach to survival. So it's in early development. It comes out the end of this year, but it's going to be a highly detailed open world. Okay.
Wait, can I really want to read? Can I do the story one? Because this name kills me. Let me just do this story one,
Yes.
right? So, the story, okay. The story is centered around Jason Longfield. Now, if that doesn't sound like a made-up name or someone's stage name or something, then I don't know what does. But Jason Longfield, really? Only thing is as crazy as that I've heard recently is Ethan Winters from from Resident Evil.
Have you ever
But-
played Baseball Stars way back on NES?
Oh yeah, I heard about this. I've never played it, but I heard the names were like some Japanese guy trying to come up with what we think Americans like as their names, right?
No,
Like,
I used to play it a ton. It was like religiously, me and my brother would all like set up seasons in the game and play it. And every character was like a John Smith, Jason Longfield. There's
Jason
no way that's
Longfield.
real.
I don't get it. Anyways, Jason Longfield, who wakes up in a strange forest, abandoned and not remembering how he got there, Jason soon finds out that he was kidnapped and brought there for a dark purpose. Fighting for his survival, his main goal is escape. Ooh. So, what do we think about Jason Longfield? Oh, I can't.
Just
Okay.
keep going.
Yeah, realistic character interaction. Okay, we want to deliver a uniquely personal gameplay experience, one that feels realistic. Every event. I'm sorry, real quick. Why this sounds? Someone would write down and say, "How can we?" This sounds like a movie trailer or something. This doesn't sound like a real person speaking. Every
And it
event.
sounds like someone who's not that good at English.
Yeah, every event has an influence on your character. If Jason is out of breath after sprinting or is afraid, his firing accuracy will suffer. Unlike action shooter titles, firing weapons in Abandon will be realistically slow. You will need to be tactical in order to survive. So again, before I keep going, this all sounds like things when you see a new game coming out and they want to show you features from their game. They're not talking about the fact that when you run you get winded or that when you shoot it's slow to be more real. No one talks about this stuff. This is stuff that's just in a game. You
Kojima
don't
does
see,
talk about that.
I know Kojima talks about his stuff, but
I'm
I mean,
saying
yes,
that to
yes,
say
you're
it's
right.
clearly him.
You're right. It makes you know what? Out of everyone I could think of that makes games, he's the only one who would focus on such like menial,
The
silly
way
things.
he
but-
was describing Death Stranded is like this.
You're right. You're
There's
right.
no way this isn't Kojima.
All right, so the development. Our studio is focused on crafting a cinematic style first person story. This is no fast paced shooter in which you just run, aim, and shoot. Abandon requires you to hide and plan every shot before pulling the trigger. We want you to be nervous, come each and every enemy encounter, to be aware that a wrong move can be the deciding factor between surviving a combat scenario or not. And it shows a picture here with a guy with a gun, immersion through the dual sense wireless controller, and 3D audio. So, to make sure we come back to this later, I find it so interesting that this little game, this little studio out of the Netherlands has all these perks. Like, think of there's first party PlayStation 5 games that don't have the DualSense wireless integrated into their game perfectly and 3D audio and all this. But anyway, we'll come back to that.
And it comes out the end of this year.
And it comes out then this year.
But they just started working on it.
And it's just announced in April. So let's say it comes out by December. What? That's 8 months. Okay, we'll get to that. Anyway, we wanted to emphasize realism through user immersion. This would not be possible without the DualSense wireless controller. Players will feel each and every interaction during gameplay, such as being struck by a bullet. Pulling the trigger on a loaded or unloaded gun will feel different. Equally, 3D audio will help you shape your decisions and tactics, using the accurate positioning of gunshots out in the wild to help you decide your next move. God, okay. Anyway, so now he's talking about the power of the PS5. Our team is still unraveling the power of PS5, but we've made amazing progress so far. The console allows us to process high-quality motion capture, all running, this is my favorite part, all running at 60 FPS and rendered at a native 4K resolution. Now, just again, we'll come back to this, but just to recap, the number of games on PS5 that run at native 4K and 60 FPS is extremely low.
I
And
don't
for
even
this
think
little,
is
I
there
don't I don't
one?
know. I don't even know if there are. And
Ratchet's not.
Ratchet's I want to. Oh, Ratchet has choices. I played performance mode, so it was 60 FPS. I want to say it was 1440p.
Yeah.
It wasn't 4K. Anyway, we're making sure the environmental quality is as close to the real thing as possible. In all, the result is realistic graphics, smooth character animations, and minimal loading screens. And so they released an announcement teaser and a release window. While we don't want to go through the full gameplay details just yet, a full gameplay video will be available soon. We couldn't wait to give you a glimpse of what to expect, so we hope you enjoy this sneak preview. Abandon will be available exclusively on PS5 quarter 4 2021. All right, so
There's
let's
the
stop
kicker.
there.
Quarter
Let's
4, 2021.
let's stop there for a second before we continue. So everything I just read is basically what was put out by PlayStation and the blog post. This is imagine this development studio partners with PlayStation in some way. Usually, I would think PlayStation would say, "This game looks like something we want to get behind. We want to put money into this. We want to put them front and center on our blog posts, and let's pump this game up and let's release it and so on." Right? So you would think this game has to be something Sony is supporting. That's the only conclusion you can draw, right? Okay.
You can't just go on PlayStation blog and make a post yourself. They have
Right.
to allow you to go on there and make a post.
Exactly. Yep. So when I first saw all this, I thought, okay, this must be something. I saw the trailer. Okay, this looks fine. Whatever. I didn't really think much of it at first. I thought this is a game PlayStation's getting behind. This is going to be a big game for them. Whatever. Okay. Let's talk about some background here before we keep going. Now, Kojima has been making the Metal Gear games for a long time now, right? People think of Metal Gear, they think of Kojima. Fine. So when Phantom Pain was originally announced, which was the last Metal Gear Solid game, it was announced by Moby Dick Studio, okay, before it was eventually revealed to be Kojima who was behind the whole entire thing. This is one reason why everyone's so suspicious of it. They don't think this is the real thing. They think this is BS. I don't know if you remember, but I remember watching the Phantom Pain stuff and thinking, like, this is so weird. What is going on here? Everyone's speculating that it was Kojima, and then sure enough, it ended up being Kojima. Yeah, I just want to put that out there for someone who hasn't been following this. People have reason to be suspicious of this off the bat, but let's just keep going. Okay.
Blue Box Game Studios is based in the Netherlands. So Death Stranding has Netherlands kind of prominently placed all throughout the game, and it's on flags in the game that you can get. It's on the back of his jacket and shirts. I don't know why, but it is very prominent. So Kojima has some connection in the Netherlands. Who knows what it is? I haven't yet to say.
Doesn't he have that the engine? Wasn't the engine made over there? The engine that Kojima was using?
That's what it is.
Decima, right?
Oh, and a studio that did help with Death Stranding is actually participating in helping develop this game.
Right.
So they are a part of all. They're just, decided to help this random guy out for no reason whatsoever.
Okay. So let's keep going. All right. Next thing. The original teasers for PT, which, in case you need a refresher, PT was something that did something similar to what we think is going on here. It was shown at some sort of game showcase. I can't remember which one it was. Anyway, it was shown off. It was a quick teaser. It said, what was it, 1770 Studio or something like that, some made-up name. Yeah. And then sure enough, when people played through the teaser, and it was extremely hard to get through, by the way, the whole internet got together. They figured out how to solve it. And then when you get to the end, you see Norman Reedus out in the street, and they reveal that it's going to be a Silent Hill game, right? Okay, fine. So that was another time Kojima, again, was trying to hoodwink people. Fine. It's like his thing. But anyway, the original teasers for PT made mention of snowflakes of blood. A tweet mentioned that same phrase as a gameplay fact for Abandon alongside the usual console specs. So I'm assuming we're mentioning this because this is Silent Hill related, correct? Snowflakes of blood?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be.
Yeah. I mean, I know Silent Hill's whole thing is that's not snow you see falling from the sky. That's basically what, like ashes of dead people. Okay, fine. So that's another connection right there. Then we keep going. I know at first people probably think, okay, so a few coincidences, but this is just too long to be too many coincidences. All right, along the way, one of Blue Box Game Studios' canceled games was named Lost Tapes, also the name of the fourth soundtrack for Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Again, another connection to Metal Gear Solid.
It just says the fourth soundtrack. But up in the Phantom Pain, did you play and beat it?
I did, yep.
Okay, the Lost Tapes is pretty important. Like it's pretty dire you listen to that.
It was crucial, yeah.
It's very important to that game. Lost Tapes definitely sticks out. Somehow Blue Box has this canceled game called Lost Tapes that was so important to listening to in Metal Gear Solid. So there's clearly a trail of breadcrumbs here, but let's keep going.
Yeah, and listen, I believe in coincidences to an extent, but it's just too much. If this turns out to not be what we think it is, I can't accept it. I still think something's off here, but anyway, we'll see. Anyway, next.
Hold on. Hassan looks like one of the custom character that you make in Metal Gear Solid 5, does he not?
He does. And also, the guy looks like a model or something. Come on, man. No head of a studio looks like that. All right, give me a break. Okay.
Have you seen Bobby Kotick?
Oh yeah, exactly. The head of Blue Box Game Studios, Hassan Carvin, has played a game on his PSN account named Demon Blood. So when you're on PSN, you can see what your friends are playing. So someone who is friends with him sees he's playing this game called Demon Blood, which is not available on the PS Store. That's already very strange. This game is not available for public purchase at all. Nothing. So this simply could be a code name for Abandoned, but investigators have picked up on the icon associated with it, which displayed the text Siren Head. Now, Siren Head, I don't know that much about Siren Head, but I know it's something that a lot of prominent figures have commented on. Like it's like this made up figure or whatever. And it just makes me think of Pyramid Head, but I know it's its own thing, right?
It still has to do with Silent Hill though.
Right. So that's another thing there. And also, again, he's playing this random this guy who has this little studio, just him and a few people, is playing some random PSN game. Okay, fine. That doesn't exist. Okay, fine. Let's keep going. Then he has direct communication with Jeff Keighley and multiple public communications back and forth between the two and confirmed private ones. Now, the thing about Jeff Keighley that you have to know is Jeff Keighley was helping last time when he was revealing Metal Gear The Phantom Pain, right? He knew what was going on. He's good buddies with Kojima. I mean, they seem like they're pretty close outside of, what they show in public. Jeff Keighley was talking up the game. Why would Jeff Keighley pick this little no-name game? And so, oh my God, we're going to show you more with it. Oh, you get ready for this. It just seems super strange.
And Snowflakes of Blood and Demon Blood, I mean, that seems like it goes together well.
Right. This is already like 5 or 6 things. Fine, let's keep going. This one blew my mind. I couldn't understand how this could be a coincidence. But anyway, Hideo Kojima, right, which is the guy we've been speaking about. His name, Hideo, his first name, translated from Japanese to Turkish, means Karman, which is Hassan Karman's last name. How? This doesn't happen. This is not...
That's literally 1 in a billion chance of happening.
What are the chances of that? That's whatever. I don't have to say more about that. That's just so strange. Twitter post from June 15th after they already denied any relation to Kojima. Oh, sorry. Before I say this next part, they came out on Twitter after, they were revealing the game and people were making the connection to Silent Hill and Kojima. They came out and they pinned this post to the top of their Twitter. I believe it's still pinned actually. Or sorry, not this post, but they pinned a post at the top of their Twitter clearing up. We're not related to Kojima at all in any way. We're not making Silent Hill. We're just trying to make our game. Okay, they want to clear it up. Fine. But then they turn around and they do this. So they say Abandon, the real name of Abandon, is going to be a title that has the first letters S, the last letters L. So what does everyone's mind go to immediately? Silent Hill, obviously. What else would...
They obviously did that on purpose.
Right. Like if this guy and his team truly are making a game that's not Silent Hill, then they're not doing themselves any favor. Do I think they deserve any hate and all this stuff? No, I don't think they deserve people DMing them horrible things, but you're not helping your case by doing stuff like this, obviously. This is what people think, and so you do this. Okay, fine. It just makes no sense. But anyway, the next one was the development studio, I don't even know how to say it, Noir, I think, is helping with the development of Abandon, who previously worked on Death Stranding. They also worked on some other big names. I think they helped with Avengers, Destiny. They had some other big ones.
They're not small. They're very important. They play a big role. So why would they just also randomly be helping this one guy who apparently has other employees apparently, but we don't know a single one of them. Yep. And they just happen to choose this one so anything prior was just this failed kickstart from this guy apparently that only made a few $100, didn't go anywhere and got canceled. And that's the only other project they apparently worked on. But yet you have a studio this large who helped on that big of games.
I mean,
somehow also helping him with this.
it goes on and on too. I'm looking at their website. They've helped with art for Avengers, Halo Infinite, which is dropping later this year, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2. These are huge games. Destiny 2, Fortnite, Spider-Man. I mean, and then they're going to come pick this little game that a passion project, let's say. They're going to pick up this little game. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, let's keep going. They had a failed, oh, you just mentioned they had a failed Kickstarter in 2015 that only raised a few $100. But Sony's working with them so closely that they can make a blog post on Sony's official blog. Very strange. We have not seen or heard of any other employees for the company. Very strange. I feel that if you really tried, you could look up any development studio and you could find a picture, a name, something of someone else in the company besides one person. That's just that just makes no sense. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. This is so strange. And when I read this tweet, it almost made zero sense to me. Okay, so they started talking about the abandoned real-time experience app. Okay, and right now it shows a blurred picture of a small room with a door at the end, reminiscent of the PT opening scene. But let's take this one step further. I want to read the tweet that they put out about the real-time app, because when I read it, it seemed like a different language. I don't understand what was going on. So let me see. On as I'm looking for it, I'll just read some of the other ones. It's so strange. We have changed the app name from Real Time Trailers to Real Time Experience, so the app will be released as Real Time Experience.
So what does that mean? Are we playing along the
I
app?
have no idea. What can you expect? Multiple trailers with durations between 5 to max 12 minutes. Gameplay demonstrations, future live events, when available. I've been playing games for a long time, and I know you have too. I've never seen games have a lead up like this. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. Another tweet on July 28th. We are hoping all of you joining the exciting real time experience and to introduce you to Abandon in the best way possible. Just wait for the reveal and relax. Are you ready? We are. Like, what does this even mean?
So if it's just this one guy and this really small team out in the Netherlands, right?
Right.
How are they even able to create this app that Sony's going to put on their store? No other person has ever been able to put out an app of their own game just for
Right.
trailers. But
Right.
apparently, it's more than just trailers. It's some experience thing too. But then when you look at it, it's a game technically, but it has an icon on it like it's an app in the PlayStation. So you know how hard it is to also put an app into the. There's only like 10 apps period on the PS5.
I know. I know. It's incredibly strange. I mean, look at some of the things he's saying. The real time experience is a game application and does much more than just a video. Okay, so am I gonna watch trailers on this? Am I playing something? We believe a real time experience app is a next gen feature that wasn't possible before thanks to the fast SSD. What?
What
What are
is
you even
it?
what are you even talking about? Allowing us to travel from point A to point B instantly and to load data fast. So an in-game cinematic in form of a trailer. Wait, let me read that again. An in-game cinematic in form of a trailer. So wait, so your trailer is real-time footage? Is that what you're trying to say? But don't people do that all the time without launching a real-time experience app? I just I
Somehow we're
just
interacting with it.
right,
I
right.
guess I guess maybe it's one of those like choose your own adventure kind of book things where
Maybe,
like maybe
maybe
as you're watching it you can decide what happens next.
it says it features haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, and the speaker, but also beyond the real-time experience app, the game will feature this as well during gameplay and cinematic. I'm gonna have to download this thing. I didn't even try to download it because I had forgotten about it, but
It
I'll have to
comes
download it
out
and
the 10th, and that's whenever I'm releasing this episode. So we release every Tuesday. I'm
oh,
actually
okay.
going to edit in before I
Okay,
release
yeah.
it, whatever this is, and it's going to be at the end of the episode
Yeah,
because
maybe we can get if it pops up, we have time. Maybe we can talk real quick and give our thoughts.
is there a time frame? Like, say the 10th,
Um,
but what time on the 10th?
I'm looking on his page. His tweets seem kind of like jumbled. I don't know. Let me see if I search real time experience app August 10th. Let's see if he says anything. Blue Box Game Studios has changed the title of the app to Abandoned Real Time Experience. Release August 10th. Pre-download July 29th. No, it doesn't say any time or anything. So I guess August 10th we'll have to be on the lookout for the real time experience app. So anyway,
I guess if we don't get it by 8 p.m., I'm just gonna post the episode
yeah,
anyway.
sure. Okay. All right,
But
let's keep
yeah,
let's keep going then. So in the background of his abandoned real time experience sort of promo like poster, it says abandoned in big letters, real time experience. And then right beneath it says only on PS5. And then in the background, you can see a sort of blurry picture of a face with an eye patch over the left eye, which is just like Metal Gear Solid with Big Boss. It just seems like, okay, you have one coincidence, fine. But you have to know what you're doing when you put a picture of a blurry image of a white male with grayish hair, okay, with a left eye patch. What do you what I don't know. If this ends up not being what we think it is, I don't feel bad for these guys at all because you did it to yourself.
Here's the problem now is there's Metal Gear references, there's Silent Hill references, there's PT
Right.
references. What even is it?
I don't know. That's
Okay, is it a Silent Hill Metal Gear crossover?
is it a celebration of Kojima's games? I have no clue, man. I have no idea what's going on here. I could picture Hassan calling Kojima's office every day, like Kojima, can you reveal this already? I can't take this anymore. So
all right, let's say it is Kojima. He's making this game. It's a real game. It's coming out. What even would the game be at
I
this
have
point?
no
Because now it's
I have
like three
no
games in
clue.
one.
I gotta say, I have no clue what it is, but I'm excited to see the end of this. Whether this was all nothing and maybe it's just a normal game, but of course I would love for this to be the other thing. Kojima's coming out with a new game, a big game. It's been a while, I feel.
Well, Kojima had a falling out with Konami and all of that
Right,
mess.
right,
And then
right.
the fact that this is called Abandoned, maybe this is like
hmm
abandoned projects of Kojima that he's
It
able
could
to
be.
work on now.
That's not a bad connection. And remember, we don't know what's been going on behind the scenes. Who knows in the last few years?
Maybe he patched it up with him.
Right. Maybe both of them realize we can do better by helping each other than being separate, you know? At least that's what I hope for. I would love, like I said, the last time there was a game that I feel everyone was playing and I could talk with everyone, probably Red Dead Redemption 2. There's been games that have been popular since then, of course. But that's the last game I felt even people who are not like hardcore gaming like we are, they're into the game too. Everyone's on the same page. I don't know, the GTA 5 came out. It was kind of like that too.
But how can a game be making Metal Gear references and Silent Hill references?
That's where I'm lost. Is it a new IP maybe, and we're just touching on all his stuff? Who the hell knows, man. Anyway, let me get through these last few here. Okay, so Abandon the Game says offline play only. Meanwhile, real time experience has no such thing. Check back soon. Every language in the app only uses 2 dots at the end of this sentence. Hassan said he changed his name from Real Time Trailers to Real Time Experience, even though it's called Abandoned Trailers. Hassan might give clues through PSN messages because he has replied to me in the past. Okay, so this is someone talking about it, even confirming the eye patch guy is a bad guy.
Hassan responds to him and says, "Yeah, I can confirm that the eye patch guy is a bad guy."
Gotcha. Okay. And then another thing, Polish language actually only has 3 dots. So this line from PT's original trailer sounds so similar to what Hassan's been pushing. Experience the world's first interactive teaser. This one was from. Oh, it's from PT. Okay, I see. Yeah, it's pretty similar, obviously there.
When PT was like coming to PlayStation, they were using the exact same wordings that they're using now.
Yep. And in case anyone's not caught up on PT, you gotta understand when PT was shown off, people were watching this game show or whatever, like a showcase or whatever. And I think that kind of pulled a lot of people. Right in the middle of the show, I remember thinking, this looks awesome. Whatever this is, I gotta try this out. People were refreshing their PlayStations immediately. They're trying to get it, and then shortly after the show it comes out, everyone was all about it. Everyone was super excited. And then when Reddit got together and found out that this was actually Silent Hills, the excitement went through the roof. People loved it, and even to this day, people still talk about PT like it's a great. Even though it's not a game, it was great for what it was, and people were super excited about it. So that's why I think even more so than we would normally be excited. That's why I think people are even more excited because man, if this could really end up being some new horror game by Kojima, it could be awesome. So. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But next, you have Sony approved it to be an app, which requires much more Sony backing and support than just releasing a game. We mentioned that. Obviously, to get on the storefront on PlayStation, front page like that, I mean, yeah, you have to have some backing. He asked Hassan if Eye Patch Guy is 4 years old or older, and he said yes. I think Snake was 42 in MGS4. Oh my god.
So he's confirming that he's over 40. He's confirming that he's a bad guy. It's all lining up with Metal Gear lore.
Right, perfectly. Okay. Next, you have Norman Reedus posting some. I don't even know what this is. Norman Reedus posted some picture of himself in a skeleton sort of jumpsuit with a bunny. What is this? I don't even know what this is
Bunny's
about.
from Silent Hill 3.
Ah, I see.
Those
Okay.
are like common enemies up in the game in Silent Hill 3.
I see. Okay.
And all of a sudden, he's just posting something referencing Silent Hill right as all this is going on.
It's just, I almost feel like at this point they're just messing with us. They're like, what else can we do to make people make connections? Like this next one. Hassan has a small island in his Twitter profile. And by the way, you're not seeing the picture, but it really is. If you were to think of a small island, there's no there's no gray area here. It's not like it's kind of small, but it's still an island. No, it's like a tiny, tiny little island. And he has it in his Twitter profile. And the word Kojima means small island. Another translation one seems very strange. I mean, you couldn't be more forward about wanting to show a tiny little island than that. So, oh man. And then the last one is a new clue as Morse code. Someone translates it. So, what is this? Is this a video? An art project called Sweet but Painful. Oh, see, the Morse code translates to Sweet but Painful. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Interesting. I don't know. I really hope this is something. And I hope that we'll find out on August 10th, and it's not going to be another case of we delayed it again for 2 weeks like it was last time.
Or they release it August 10th, and it just has even more questions than answers, and we still don't know where it's going or what it even is.
It's this. No matter what happens, this whole thing has been an interesting ride. It's been fun to keep up with this and hear people talk about it and see what happens. So, if this is truly a game that is just a game and nothing more.
But this is that PS5 exclusive that I've been wanting this whole time, because it's like we have nothing more to look forward to when it comes to a PS5 exclusive.
You're right. You're right.
Got what we got, and there's nothing. This is the only PS5 exclusive that we know of.
Right. So maybe this could end up being the game that fits that empty spot that we were referring to. Maybe if it is a secret and it is a way bigger game with a bigger budget than we think, and since they've kept this under wraps, then maybe this could be a huge game that comes out this year. Who knows? Death Stranding came out almost 2 years ago.
They've had enough time to be working on this to where this could come out at the end of this year. And there's a lot of photos of Kojima now working in an office. He's definitely working on this game.
Right. So I'm excited to find out. Let's see what happens. Let's keep an eye on it on what the 10th is Tuesday, I believe. So let's keep an eye on that on Tuesday, and as soon as we see something, maybe we can have a quick chat about it. Hopefully he does it earlier in the day rather than later. And one other thing I wanted to mention that wasn't in the notes is this guy lives in the Netherlands, and he's posting big updates for his game at a time that in the Netherlands would be like 2:00 in the morning or 3:00 in the morning, something really random like that, which again is incredibly strange. But anyway, hopefully he will continue that and post it at a time that's reasonable for us and probably not for him. So we can get some news early on. But yeah, I can't wait to find out what this is, whatever it is.
The fact that it's called Abandoned really has me believing that it's stuff that he's worked on in these different IPs that he had to abandon, and maybe he's making this sort of I don't know. What a compilation video game of different IPs that he never got to actually like show. So like at the end of Metal Gear Solid 5, we never actually got to see the true ending. So maybe he could like dive into that more. Or
that's a fair point. I would be willing to play Metal Gear Solid 5 again if it meant I would get the the last part of it there, the Act 3 or whatever you want to call it. So
maybe he's able to use all these different assets that he had to abandon, so he can make a game out of his. I think the abandon has strong meaning behind it, of stuff that he abandoned that he's gonna now work on again.
We know, love him or hate him, the guy clearly is very deliberate in everything he does, right? He plans things out. He takes 4 steps ahead of you. He's thinking ahead. So yeah, I agree with you that this.
The problem is it's almost kind of too obvious, and that would smash me being like, okay, well, maybe he knows that. Maybe he knows that, like, oh, well, yeah, everyone's like reading all this stuff, but no one still knows what it even really is. Even if they have an idea, maybe he's okay with that.
Right. Well, you know what? Right now, as soon as we finish up, I'm going to go download this real-time experiences app or whatever it's called, whatever you want to abandon real-time experience. I'm going to go download it. I'm going to go download it right now. And then yeah, I'm going to go from there.
Well, had a good episode. I will
Yeah.
see you guys later.
All right, man. Take care. See you guys later. Kick Greg out.